Hello, I'm Takeshi Watanabe from Japan. I'm from the University of Electro-Communications and Digital C LLC, and my presentation is on analyzing Viscuit programs crafted by kindergarten children. I'm presenting on the behalf of our team. Starting in 2020, programming education has become mandatory for elementary schools in Japan. Therefore, programming education for preschoolers is attracting more attention as people prepare for enrollment in elementary schools. In addition, tablet PCs enable young children to make programs without mouses and typing, making programming easier for children. Hence, all over the world, people are starting to learn programming at a younger age. Digital Pocket LLC has been teaching programming to senior grade kindergarteners as 1 year regular lessons since we started this research. However, we have never measured children's ability on each lesson and after the whole curriculum. Therefore, we try to unveil how they could understand the programming. Now I'll explain the programming language Viscuit that we use to teach programming to children. I put some images on the colored stage and put the rule-making glasses on the gray area and then put images in both circles of the glasses. The images on the stage move immediately. The left lens is the setup and the right is the result. If the position of the result is more to the left than the setup, the image will go left. If there are two contradictory rules, for example, one going left and one going right, then it will produce a random move. We can add up rules and also images. If I put a different image on the result, it means change all the setup to the result. Therefore, we can make repeating changes such as fish opening and closing its mouth. Viscuit is not only very easy, but enables us to create a very complex program by adding rules. Surprisingly, we can make 8 puzzles and even Tetris with Viscuit. As far as we know, the most rules for one work was about 600 rules. Viscuit was invented and developed by Yasunori Harada, who is third author of this research in 2003. Viscuit implements fuzzy rewriting. Therefore, users can put images anywhere on the stage and make images rotate without limitation of a grid, comparing to other languages adapting the rewriting rule. He observes the way children use in every update and improves Viscuit. The most distinguishing feature of Viscuit is that children can make programs without letters or numbers. So it is suitable for preschoolers who are not familiar with writing and reading. Viscuit is not quite as abstract as other programming languages. It is more concrete, so it is easy for young children to make programs. In addition, even complex programs can be made by just adding rules. Viscuit is as popular as Scratch in elementary school education in Japan. Here, I'll show you the kindergarteners in a regular lesson. The kindergarten teacher teaches programming to children. We use prepared images in order to teach the techniques of Viscuit. Here, the teacher moves the fish in the wrong direction on purpose. Children are saying no, no. Then yes, when the fish begins to move correctly. In order to teach smoothly, we keep children separate from their own tablets. The teacher gathers them in front of her and teaches what they should do next, and then let them go to their own tablets. At the end of every lesson, we had review time. With Viscuit, we show all of their created programs together on the screen. We call this Viscuit Land. The kindergarten is in Kanagawa Prefecture, near Tokyo, and is the standard kindergarten in Japan without any particular feature. The kindergarten bought 30 iPad minis in order to enable every children use devices by themselves after this project began. The teacher in kindergarten teaches programming to children. She is the second author of this research, and she is very good at teaching and communicating with the kindergartners. Digital Pocket LLC provided training on how to teach Viscuit from 2015 to 2016. In this research, the number of subjects was 28 and age range 5 to 6. And including this lesson, every one lesson lasted about 40 minutes. This is the entire curriculum of the programming lessons using Viscuit in the kindergarten in 2017. Through this curriculum, children learned 4 Viscuit programming techniques: straight move, random move, change of picture, and rotation. Then, in the final lesson in this study, we clarified how they can create programs on their own without particular tasks about the techniques. In the 13th lesson, the teacher asked them to create a work introducing the Japanese operetta, The Journey of a Cat Family, on Viscuit Land. It was going to be performed at the kindergarten graduation ceremony for their parents. The story of the journey of a cat family is that a cat family finds a vase on which the map of a large amount of treasures is drawn. And then the cat family goes on a journey by ship to look for the treasure. All programs made with Viscuit system are saved in the JSON file format in the Viscuit online server. The JSON files have information such as coordinates of images, type of rules, and whether each rule was valid or not. Therefore, we analyzed based on the content of the JSON file. The JSON file was generated when children pressed the save button. Then the screen refreshed and children work on another work again. Therefore, the number of programs they made in the lesson varied depending on the child. We associated all programs with each drawing made by children in order to judge whether the applied programs were appropriate or not to the drawings. As a result, among 28 children, the number of pictures drawn by children was 233. The number of valid rules was 196, and the number of sets of rules applied to each picture was 152. First, straight move. There were 49 programs which applied straight move. 17 set of rules out of 49. Each picture has internal directional logic. Among them, all pictures move along the directional logic properly. These are ships of the Vikings, and they go along the directional logic of the ship. And this is the cat walking on the ground line. Next, random move. The number of the rules applied to random move was small. It was only 7. However, 3 of them expressed the ship bobbing on the waves very effectively. We assume that's the reason why the number of random move is lower than is that we spent fewer lessons learning about rotate random move. It might not have been enough to make them internalize the techniques. This ship is bobbing on the waves. It seems to be the seeing the cat family on the sea. The most number of pictures that applied to change of picture was for the cat image, especially the number of programs that expressed change in expression of cat's face. Other than drawings, which we could not realize what they were, the next highest number of pictures applied was face. Among them, the face changing color probably refers to the scene in which the cat father finds the map of treasure on the face cleaning the surface. This obviously expresses the happy feeling of cats by applying change of picture. The vase changing its color expresses the moment the cat father find the map on the surface of the face when he cleaned it. When it came to the rotate move, the number of waves was the highest. Operetta has a scene where a cat family encounters big waves. Therefore, children might have made rotating wave in order to express this scene. This rolling wave represents the scene in which the cat family bumps into the big wave. We confirmed that many works adapted the programs for pictures effectively. However, the number of sets of rules varied greatly among children. Therefore, we consider that a small number of children who are good at crafting programs in Viscuit might have a large effect on the aggregation. Therefore, we defined those sets of rules that I showed in this presentation as the sets of rules expressing their idea effectively, and we calculated who makes each set of rules. Then, we found almost all children contributed to the number of these works. 24 of the 28 children, it means 85% of them, were able to use the expression that I showed. Among them, 13 children used one type of learned technique, 10 children used two, and one child used three. Here we can conclude in this research. Children crafted programs by applying various techniques to their own pictures. Therefore, we can conclude that the children could make programs using Viscuit. In addition, their internalized programming selected the learned techniques that matched the picture they drew, and 85% of children recreate the scene of a story with their idea. We can say that programming helps children to express their ideas. This is my presentation. Thank you so much.